Yo, everybody, this your boy Sean, aka Puff Comics 83, and we're back with another episode of Talking Movies, and I'm joined by my favorite co-host, Varangian Vigilante. How are you
Hey,
doing,
hey.
brother?
Very well. It's Friday. Today we are honoring two legends of cinema, Marlene Clark and Jim Brown. And I mean, the sad thing really is that both passed away on the same day, on the 18th of May,
Yeah.
which is crazy, especially considering the scenes they shared in Slaughter. This movie is so good. This movie is fantastic.
Yes. So the two films that we'll be discussing today is Slaughter, 1972, Jim Brown's feature movie, and we'll also be talking Switchblade Sisters, something that VV put me on. It's directed by the same person who did Coffee and Foxy Brown. So, you can just see from the cover of it, that's that authentic
Absolute same vibe
vibe to it, And both movies actually fit when I put the thumbnail together. I was like, man, they look hand in hand.
70s magic, and both also movies, especially I think Switchblade Sisters, could only have been done in the 70s. Hey, Gary B and Two Gun Pedro.
Two Gun Pedro, what's going on? Thanks for joining us. We're gonna have a very interesting discussion talking these two films, legendary actors. So Slaughter. It's a movie that is well known in the blaxploitation genre. But when you really watch the film, it doesn't have the blaxploitation feel to it.
Yeah, it does. It feels really more. Which is interesting because Action Jackson is like a homage to a lot of blaxploitation flicks, but it feels a little bit like Action Jackson, more like a regular action movie that just happens to be black led.
Yeah, it only has two black actors in it, Jim Brown and Marlene Clark.
Yeah.
But when you really look at the aesthetic of it, it feels more like James Bond style movie where he travels to an exotic location.
Exactly, yeah.
And he's there to investigate and to find out who murdered his parents. The person responsible for it. Because his father was murdered at the beginning of the movie. I'm like,
the car bomb,
yeah, that was a way to set the movie off with a bang.
I mean, what sets the movie off with a bang is this sick riff by Bill Preston in the Slaughter theme. That theme is so awesome.
The fact that Quentin Tarantino reused it for Inglourious Basterds, most people in the comments on the videos like, man, I wish I saw this movie before I saw Inglourious Basterds because it made the theme more fitting for it. But yeah, that theme song is just top notch. In which it goes hand in hand with a lot of blaxploitation films. You gotta have a badass theme song to fit a badass character like Slaughter. And what better character than a name like Slaughter?
I mean, that is like... When I watched it, I immediately thought there must be like a sequel because you don't just have one movie with a character named Slaughter.
And it's funny because in American football there was a wide receiver name. His name was Webster Slaughter. I was like, is he tied to the movie? Because you can't have a name like that and just be bad. That's a badass name. Just Webster Slaughter. What's up, Simply Incredible?
AD.
What?
Still not gonna watch that movie.
Be safe, man. Be safe.
Yeah.
But yeah, so this movie starts off with his father getting blown up in a car bomb, and and he gets the news that there was something fishy going on with it, because it's a car bomb, so somebody had to set it up. And one of his former associates, he tried to get some information from her. He wanted her to help him out,
but she's gunned down.
She's gunned down by an unknown assailant, and automatically you're like, well, damn! Now he's gonna have to do this all by himself.
Hey, K-pop.
What's up, K-pop?
Yeah, I mean the characters immediately like portrayed like very stoic, but also very determined. Former Green Beret, and yeah, the movie's also so well cast. Not only with Jim Brown and Marlene Clark, but also a young Rip Thorn. Rip Thorn, I usually know, from funny characters like in 30 Rock, Don Guys, and of course Patches O'Houlihan in Dodgeball. But here is like he's the ultra asshole dick, like just a racist asshole.
And he couldn't handle the fact that his girl saw Slaughter and said, "I need to be with him." he was completely angry, racist and angry. So
yeah. And also Cameron Mitchell is in it. I mostly know him from some Italian movies that he did with Mario Bava, like Viking movies, where he was cast a little bit too old. But yeah, he is like, I mean, also not the most sympathetic person, but at least he's trying to take down the bad guy.
With unconventional methods.
Yeah.
He sends Slaughter on the trip, and he didn't even like Slaughter to begin with.
Yeah.
But when you got a badass like Slaughter, you need him on your side.
Yeah, exactly.
Speaking of which, we mentioned Marlene Clark as she plays Kim Walker, and at first you kind of you don't really know what her character is because she says she's a journalist and a photographer, but there was a lot more behind that, and probably one of the weirdest scenes we talked about backstage. Slaughter goes to his apartment, after his associate got killed, and he hears something in the bathroom. So the first thing he does is pull out his gun and unloads the whole clip in the bathroom door.
And like, if you're still alive, come out slowly.
And then she comes out. He's like, "What the fuck you doing in there, bitch?
You dumb bitch!"
And then at first, she like, I just had to get more scoop information.
Yeah, being half naked, just with the towel and
He throws her out, and she all naked and shit. I'm like, what the fuck? that completely threw me off guard. Like, what the hell is she doing naked in there?
Yeah.
She wanted a piece of the Slaughter.
Yeah. And you already mentioned if this would have been a Fred Williamson movie, we had our first sex scene in there.
Oh yeah, Fred would have went on. He would have went hammer on that. But that was like the first real funny scene to me, with her being involved. But there was a lot. She was a bit more than what she was, and when you find out that she's actually working with Price, one of the main lieutenants operating the whole deal against Rip Torn's character, Dominic. Another thing that this movie sets up that we never see is this big supercomputer that got all the information.
I think this was just like a plot device. It was the 70s. Hey, what are people afraid of? Computers. So of course the mafia uses a supercomputer to be more crime efficient.
But we never see it, so it's like, where's this evidence that you said that you had on a computer?
Like, and that's the good thing. Who needs evidence when you gunned down all the bad guys anyway? So it's redundant.
Now we talked about how this movie didn't really feel blaxploitation, and one of the things that make it stand out is changing the location. It's not in a downtrodden neighborhood, and I think this is something that's a tribute to Jim Brown, because Jim Brown, when you watch a lot of his films, he's not really tied into a lot of black themed films at that time. He was in a variety of films, whether they were westerns, war movies, and so forth. So this movie takes its location down to South America, or Central America more. And I remember I read an interesting fact about how this was supposed to be in Mexico, but Mexico did not want their name involved in the film.
It's so like they had to keep it. Mexico is like, hey, if somebody makes Mexico a worse place for vacation, it's us. It's like, it's not you.
But when you watch the movie, it's like they don't even really offend the native people.
Yeah,
it's all about Dominic and his gang.
and Felici, who is Italian, so it's basically the Italian mafia, but it just chose the Mexico for the weather or something.
But I like the location. It's
Location's
different,
great,
and,
yeah.
and I like the swirling pool and all that stuff. It looked real nice, and it sets the movie different from other blaxploitation films.
Yeah. The setting is a big, strong point of the movie, and also what I love is the pacing. 91 minutes long, and there's not one dull moment. It really moves forward fast, but also not in a way where I'm like, hey, I'm lost. And the action, of course, is fantastic. I also like the change of the camera, when with the kill scenes. It almost feels like at a kill cam.
Yeah, that's another thing that made it stand out. The camera scenes where you see an instant action scene where like he fights Harry for the first time, and the camera goes to this like different lens, and it makes it more like spread out, and it's unique. Nobody really does that. I don't think outside this movie.
It's very interesting. Another thing what I noticed once, I don't know if it just was the version that I watched, but what was the name of his assistant, Harry?
Yeah, Harry.
Played by Don Gordon. There was one thing I noticed that he was one stopped and one like...
Yes! I noticed that too!
Yeah.
I was like, is they doubling his voice? Because he talks one way and then it's a completely different voice.
Yeah, exactly. And it was not just the quality of the scenes. So I wondered if there maybe was like a cut scene and the sound quality was not good enough, so they redubbed it or something, or maybe he got dubbed and they didn't have the voice actor left when they edited the scene in. It was strange, but
thankfully it was like the only part that it happened in, because it would have been annoying had it happened a couple of times.
Yes.
But one thing about certain dubs, like the movie Pieces is notorious for the dubbing in that film. Like it's so fucking awkward. It's like it don't even match the voices. I mean, the lip syncing. So sometimes the dubbings can take me out of a film.
Yeah, so it's good it was just in one scene, but otherwise, I think the character was also funny. Because he was also, I wouldn't say comic relief, but he had some of the more light-hearted scenes, especially when he tried to hit on Anne at the pool.
He could not get a female to give him no play. That was like probably the only comedic part of him, is that Slaughter can get all the chicks. He could not, and they will always just walk away from him.
Well, he got some action later with one of Dominic's henchmen at the table.
Oh man, he was a good henchman.
Yeah, the one with the mustache. Yeah.
Like I like him as a henchman. I could see him as a normal henchman in other films.
It was really cool. It was so strange to really see Rip Ford like as an ultimate asshole bad guy. I mean, apparently he was also not very nice to Stella Stevens, who played Anne, who sadly also passed away this year in February, I think.
Yeah.
I mean, Rip Torn passed away in 2019. So, that's sad, especially when you watch movies from the 70s.
And you know what's interesting about Stella Stevens is that she was awesome as the villain in Cleopatra Jones, the sequel. And I was like...
Also movies we have to talk about, the Cleopatra Jones.
Yeah, the Cleopatra Jones film. She was awesome as the villain in the second film. And, here she's played more like the dance movements of stress and the love interest of Slaughter. And, she was fine, but she also had that once you go black, you don't go back. And that's what Dominic couldn't tolerate, especially when she laid eyes on Slaughter and he noticed it immediately.
Yeah, and it was also not again choosing the nicest words to describe the situation.
That casino scene where Slaughter walks in and everybody stopped what they're doing to see him, to look at him like, what is he doing here? And he just completely owned that scene. Like, Jim Brown just had that presence.
Especially I think when when Dominic said, "It's like go again, don't come back. We don't want your kind here anymore." He's like, what do you mean with my kind? Like,
Yeah, like he completely owned that scene, and Mario Felici just he wanted to be reasonable.
yeah, he was a business first guy. Like, hey, there's a time for killing and there's like a time for business. The actor was really cool that played. Had really had this Italian swag. It was like American. Alpha the name, and I was immediately looking up. Hey, are there any other movies he's in? Because I really like that guy. But he died in '72, so this is his only movie, sadly.
It is a shame because I could definitely see him in other type movies where he's like a mob boss.
Yeah.
Because he has the voice. That was the thing that stood out. Like he had that voice.
Yeah, and he always was talking a little bit Italian and me like.
Yeah, the mixture of Italian and some Spanish in it, considering they in Central America. So
yeah,
like he definitely had a voice and his presence, and I liked it how he was the calm, cool, and demeanor.
Yeah.
Whereas Rip Torn Dominic was like
completely
crazy.
Yeah.
And I was like, he should have got him dealt with early on in the film.
Yeah, and also like I don't see anybody want to follow Dominic when you have like actually like a very chill boss like Felucci who just if you're loyal you're fine. Also he was like he knew that he liked to enjoy life. He was playing polo, he was playing squash, so he had like a real good thing going. Right.
I mean, he was the one that put Anne on Slaughter to say, hey, mingle with him, find out, what he's about and stuff. And Dominic like, no, that's not gonna happen. He like, but he's the boss. He tell her how it is, and she works for him as well.
And he also criticized Dominic for killing Slaughter's parents. They said it was totally unnecessary what you did.
Yeah, and it's people like those that you have to deal with in a certain way.
Yeah.
When they keep bringing problems to your organization, sooner or later, they're going to become the problem.
Mm-hmm.
And he found out too late.
Sadly, too late.
But, his character was really good as, the boss of the organization. And we all know that, Dominic was like the man to take that over from him. And props to Rip Torn, he played the character to the T, which is when you really think about it, the 70s bad guy persona. Villains that's supposed to be villains.
Yes.
I want to hate your guts. That's what I'm supposed to be.
I don't see anybody watching this movie and like, he had some valid points now. No, like he really played a guy you can only root against.
Yeah. So, when it comes to that factor, the villain was on point. He had a great henchman, and the scene with Harry at the casino table, he's gonna choke him out.
Yeah.
I was like, and the whole punchline with Dallas, like I got friends in Dallas and stuff like that. Harry made sure to bring that up at the end when he got him.
In the end, when he got action scenes are also awesome. I laughed. Those like the fight at the rooftop. Also the henchman was like, hey, guns down, we're gonna do this with knives.
The action scenes in the film was well done, for what it was back in the 70s. And another scene that I really enjoyed was after the whole thing at the casino when he got with Anne and stuff, and they were just watching him, and he knew it. And that is what led to the rooftop scene. But he knew that it was coming, and he was immediately on the chase for them. Like Slaughter doesn't back down from nobody.
Exactly. Also, this movie had really good car chasing scenes. For the budget, they really did this well. Yeah,
that final chase was pretty good. It was a bit longer than it should have been, but for what they did and the ending of it, it was fantastic.
Also before when Slaughter got chased through the streets with a car. That was very well cut.
Now, back to Marlena's Clark character, Kim, there were times where she popped up to berate Slaughter, to say, don't do this, because they sent them down there on a mission, to find information and the supercomputer and stuff like that. But Slaughter, in his mind, he's like, I'm gonna do what I want.
Yeah.
And he's being the ex-Green Beret. You're not gonna tell somebody like that what to do.
Yeah. I'm gonna leave bodies and you can find the evidence after.
Exactly. So with her character, she was like loyal to Price, that she didn't want to break no rules. She was like second in command to tell Slaughter what to do and what not to do. But she really couldn't tell Slaughter to do shit, because Slaughter's gonna do what Slaughter does. And by the end of the movie, you want to see her like break out of that whole loyalty to Price and just do what she can do to help.
I wonder if there are any scenes on the cutting room floor, because it really seemed like her character should be more important. But always when she has a scene, and then she goes under and pops up later. But she's a character throughout the movie, but she could really have more screen time.
Yeah, like she's underutilized.
Yeah.
Like I felt like she could have had a lot more, and she could have played a part at the end of the shootout. Especially after when you watch Switchblade Sisters after that, I'm like, damn, why didn't they give her a gun in this film?
Because she can handle that.
So I, God rest her soul, both her and Jim Brown.
Yeah.
It's great that they were in this movie together to give us a chance to talk about it.
Yeah.
But I do feel like in this film, she was underutilized.
Absolutely. It's really in the beginning of the movie, you're really thinking, hey, she's a major character.
Mm-hmm.
But then she's like a side character, sadly.
Yeah.
I would have really, what if we have done this movie a little bit more of, women's, like being like a little bit envious, that they're both trying to be the main man's chick. So you could have had a little bit of bitch fighting with Anne and her. But it's just a personal touch I would have had.
I was about to say, who would you root for in that situation?
like whoever wins, I win.
Can't fault that logic.
Yeah.
But yeah, she definitely was underutilized. But like I said, thankfully for Switchblade Sisters, because even when we get to that, I was like, man, when is she gonna show up? It's like an hour past and she ain't here yet. And then when she finally shows up and gets serious,
she's business.
Yeah. But like Slaughter was just one of those films that it just moves at a brisk pace.
Yeah.
Jim Brown owns every piece of screen time that he has.
Absolutely. This is a movie. It's also a movie that you can rewatch at any point. If you're a fan of action, this is your movie. It's old school 70s action. Even with the pacing, I have to say, it feels like a prototype of an 80s action movie.
That definitely, because when you look at, like, I will say the tail end of the 60s, you start to see a little bit more of that 70s style action.
Yeah.
But the fact that this movie was 72, it definitely do set up a lot of tropes that came into the 80s.
Yeah. It was clearly ahead of its time.
Yeah. Especially with the camera angles that they chose for the death scenes. Like when what's his name gets killed by Dominic. It's a unique way of putting the camera up close to him to see him get shot up.
Except this, if this movie would have been done in the 80s, the country it was in would have been Valverde.
It probably would have been.
Yeah. So it's really, it's a fantastic action movie that has not a single weak point in my opinion. Of course, you can always say, the quality, with some shootout, etc. But still, it's very bloody, and I also think that the makeup was done well, especially on the rooftop fight when Slaughter got cut with the knife. and you could see. And what I loved about it is like the wound was like dropping and stuff. So it really looked gnarly. So very well done.
I love when he tossed those two guys off the building.
Oh, the roof, yeah.
What's up, Highland? It's been done in the 80s.
Yeah, I think they would have changed some dialogue. Hey, Barry.
Lurking.
Always lurking.
You know what, though? I always say the dialogue from 70s films should stay the way it are.
And exactly,
stay the way it is.
And it is the way. It's not like anybody is glorifying certain racial slurs, but a bad guy is a bad guy. And a bad guy also have to earn a fatal death in the end. Hey, Jacob. And Dominic Rippon's character, when he's offed, you feel so satisfied.
Man, we gotta talk Get You Sucker, man. We gotta talk I'm Gonna Get You Sucker. That's a classic too, man.
Wanna watch it?
But yeah, like Dominic is just the personification of evil villain you want to see get his.
Yes, and it's so satisfying at the end. And also the way he's offed. And of course, Slaughter just listening and already knowing what he's gonna do.
The way he dies, though, is fitting to the character. You know,
we have like a crisis on two Paris.
Hey, you done switch the count real quick to comment. Oh man, but yeah, he died the way his character is.
Yeah.
He went out the way.
And then the thing is, they have this car chasing scene, and then the car of Dominic flips over, and he's basically, they're dying, and he's begging Slaughter to get him out of the car, but still cursing racially against him. It's like, dude, it's like he would have get saved. I would have chosen like very different.
I mean, he could have at least tried to contain himself to say, "All right, if he helped me get out this car, I got this little extra gun on the side. I can get him if he helps."
Well, he died. He died the way he lived.
Exactly. And by the way, that shootout at the house before the car chase was awesome.
Excellent.
And it's funny. One of my criticism of blaxploitation films, especially the Fred Williamson, Jim Brown movies, is that they never fucking reload when they shoot their guns. To see him reload constantly was like, finally,
and also
accuracy.
And the bullet holes, especially in the people. That's so satisfying when you have a shootout and it's not like people randomly falling, but no, you can really see like the impacts.
Yeah. They falling over like in Hot Shots Part 2.
It's like oh, that movie is so
But just to see him reload his gun, it's satisfying, because you watch 3 the hard way, and I'm like, are these guys ever gonna reload? Because it seems like they got infinity bullets. That was a cheat code before cheat code existed. Oh man, that was pretty awesome. Yeah, give props. K-pop, she gonna have her show, Fardia's features. So definitely make sure y'all check that out. She does it every Friday around 6, I think. So check that out. So yeah, Slaughter is a fun film. And I'm looking forward to watching the sequel, Slaughter's Big Ripper.
Yeah.
Because I heard James Brown did the theme on that.
Oh yeah, I already listened on the theme. It's like I was immediately after the movies, I was like, I have to watch the sequel. This movie is an action movie to my liking. Exactly. No bullshit, cool character, cool side characters, like a villain that you really want to root against. It's just old school classic, best formula.
And the best thing of all, nudity.
Yes. Tits.
Ass. All of it.
All of it. All the good stuff. And when you have a pool, you want to have Marlene Clark also come out of your pool.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, Slaughter's awesome. Love that film. And I'm glad I added it to the docket, because when you brought up Switchblade Sisters and Marlene Clark, when I looked up, because I know Marlene Clark from like certain TV shows. I know she was in Sanford and Son. She was hilarious in that. Also, Ganja and Hess is like one of those movies that I watched one time and I could not figure out what the hell was going on in that film. And it's got some good actors in it, but it's just, for the life of me, I cannot describe what that film is about.
I don't even know that movie.
Yeah, it started with the same actor from Night of the Living Dead. So I watched that movie once and I never watched it again. I'm not to say it was a bad movie. I just could not figure out the plot.
Yeah, sometimes happens.
But yeah, she was awesome, and the fact that her and Jim Brown died on the same day.
It's crazy. It's really, when you see them both riding in the car in this movie, and you think, if somebody would have told them, both of you dying on the 18th of May in 2023. The good thing is both had like a rich and full life.
Yeah.
There's like no early deaths.
And Jim Brown is one of the greatest running backs in American football history, so he got that to his name as well.
Yeah.
Great actor, great philanthropist, great running back.
And also awesome in Mars Attacks.
Yes.
Naturally.
Yeah. So, Switchblade Sisters. Now, this was a first-time watch for me.
Nice.
And I remember after you brought up the film, I went and looked it up on YouTube. And the first scene that I saw on YouTube was the scene at the little hangout, where she scared those boys away because, that's their scene. And we introduced the Maggie. So I was like, all right, this is going to be interesting. So watching the film, it was quite enjoyable. And I was conflicted towards the end of the film.
Absolutely. This movie is, first of all, it really deserves like a status as a cult flick. What I like about it is how cruel it is in a way to portray like the youth gang scene back in the day.
Yeah, even though they all were like in their 20s and stuff.
Exactly.
None of them were teenagers.
Yeah, they all look a little bit too old for that, but hey, I also don't think you would have had a problem shooting that movie with teenagers even in the 70s. Maybe in France, but
not in America.
Not in America. Because you also hear the interesting thing about it is there's also not really a good character in the movie. There's some characters where you get why they're doing what they're doing, but basically, when you know that the two cops are the nicest guys in the movie, like you're watching like a strange one, and everybody tries to rape. Even a juvenile. Common. Yeah.
This movie definitely wouldn't fly today.
Yeah. And you have like two rival school gangs. Then you have some scenes in Juvenile.
I'm sorry though. I'm sorry. I cannot take the Crabs seriously with their leader dressing the way he dressed.
Yes.
Like that, you look at them and I'm like, is this really a gang?
Yeah, they look a little bit.
They look like science nerds and shit.
I would have said a different word, which are also not allowed to say to the anymore, which starts with an F and ends with an G.
Yeah, we gotta contain ourselves.
Yeah.
None of them would. But that's the beauty of it. Like we can watch these films and know that they were made for a specific era. So we're not going to criticize it with modern sensibility.
Yeah, maybe one of the most interesting scenes for me was, later when Marlene Clark entered like the movie, and because she's the leader of Black revolutionaries, and she's like a big fan of Mao. So you have the Mao, the pictures in the background, and also Mao is quoted when she said like, "Hey, Mao said you should not waste time on personal grudges." This is very funny because Mao had 40 to 80 million personal grudges of innocent Chinese people that he killed. So,
hey, you take a quote from a man that had so many brothers himself.
Yeah. So that's interesting stuff that, you know, there's a lot of violence. It really shows also the circle of violence. How, you know, what goes around comes around.
And it's funny how the movie like plays with your emotion on the characters, especially Maggie and Lace.
Yeah.
Because it really do feel like Maggie was almost set up to take over from Lace.
Yeah.
You know, from the way she defended herself at the little meetup to being initiated into the gang to Dominic actually, you know, getting with her in crude fashion because he followed her home and raped her while her mother was still there, and the mother was with her man. He came out to look at Dominic and say, "You know who that is? That leader of the gang. I'm not
the leader of the Silver Daggers. Like I'm like I have to live here." That was, you know, also since the rise of the movie with Miramax, it almost felt like this was like the portrayal of a casting session with Harvey Weinstein. So basically, they had like
all I know is Dominic was a scumbag to Maggie.
In both movies, the Dominics are not good people.
Then he pulled the ultimate scumbag move on Lace. You know, she loved him so much.
Yeah.
That when she told him that she was pregnant, this motherfucker lost his mind.
Then he throws money at her and he's like, "You know what?
I'm in the middle of a war. I don't need that on my mind now." And he was berating her and stuff. And that probably was definitely true at that time and age. But good Lord, he kind of had a rage on Lace about that. And that's when she realized, like, I need to get rid of him because I smell the perfume of Maggie on this motherfucker. And then next you know, they had a whole thing with the crabs where they all at the roller skating rink.
Yeah.
And they was gonna like get revenge on the crabs for some bullshit they pulled.
Yeah. I mean, that was like, I had to think about Anchorman, you know, like, boy, that escalated quickly from school rivalry to M16 shootouts at the roller skating venue.
Bro, those guys had no chill.
It's just like, what?
They pulling out automatic rifles at the skating rink?
Yeah.
Like the Dominic and his crew had little handguns. These guys got automatic rifles, and they just shooting anybody. And I'm like, and we talk about shootouts today. These motherfuckers in the 70s.
Those were not gangs. Those were like private armies.
I was like, what the hell?
And the craziest thing about when I realized, hey, Janice Carmen is in this movie, one of the Silver Daggers and later Jezebels. Like she's married to the son of the creator of the Chipmunk.
Last Bassin Gang.
And she's voicing the Chipettes, and I think Theodore, yeah. Yeah. So it's like that's a career move from Switchblade Sisters to the Chipmunks.
You go from something super violent to something super wholesome.
Yeah, it's like.
Yeah, but that scene don't flip me out. I'm like, what the hell? These guys pulling out automatic rifles at the skating rink. You can't go to a skating rink and have fun.
Yeah, I didn't know that. I think was this movie in New York or But where was this?
No, I think it was on the West Coast.
West Coast. Do they have open carry?
That was crazy. We getting a little ahead of ourselves, when in terms of story. But I just had to bring that up because that was insane. I was like, I could definitely see why Maggie went and got Muffin in the
because the crazy thing about this movie, and I think this is also the awesome thing about this movie, is how it basically starts, with a gang roost, and you have like this gang rivalry at schools. And then suddenly becomes like an all-out war where it's like this escalated really quickly. And later when the revolutionaries join, they come with like almost like with a fucking tank.
they pin the dude with the damn car. That shit had me rolling. But I got to say, the damn principal in this damn movie is fucking lame. I was like, bro, can we get Morgan Freeman as Joe Clark from Lean On Me to teach these fucking punks some lessons?
Yeah.
This dude is so tame that he let the fucking gangs run the school.
Yeah, and he was like asking them nicely, hey, it's like, can you believe?
Yeah, like the crabs are transferring over, so can we like form a truce and stuff? I'm like, oh, fuck you, the principal, and you talking like you a child and they the bosses.
Yeah.
Well, I ain't never seen shit like this in the movie, man.
It's really crazy.
I was like, this school needs Joe Clark to come and clean it up, cause.
And also in Juvenile, I mean, like when what are they called? They're not mother superiors, but when those.
She was not mother superior in this.
Yeah, but when there's like low budget Ilsas tried to rape the girls, they're like, damn. And
she got her ass whipped. Like, they made her look mean, and I like, the memes where you see these hot female teachers today, and then you see a picture of the teachers I had growing up in school. Yeah. That's who she reminded me of. Because she reminded me of a teacher I remember from public school. Yeah. And I was like, damn.
And the D word was thrown around nicely. The one that starts with D and sounds like Ike.
They said it. That's what they called her.
Yeah.
And she was hitting on Maggie. She's like, oh, this is a fresh piece of meat right here. I ain't never seen you before.
Yeah. And Maggie thought she could fight her way out of it, but they were firm, and she qualified for like a little search.
But see, this comes back to Lace. But when they was at the little food place in the beginning, Maggie defended herself against one of the it was an eye patch, and Lace liked it that. He was like, oh, she's pretty badass with the sling. And took the Switchblade and all.
Yeah.
So Lace had a liking to her. So when the lady in the juvenile center was trying to harass her and get all this play on her, Lace said, we need to go and save the day.
Yeah.
And they went in there and they beat her ass and took control. And they even got Maggie out early.
Yeah.
And that's when
the system works.
And that's when the whole give this letter to Dominic. One of the guys took it from her and gave it to Dominic. They said, you need to read it out loud because we need to hear it. Nothing private. And this is the most softest, most tenderizing letter that a woman could write to a man. And everybody was laughing at Dominic.
And ridiculing it, yeah.
But then Dominic got a little weird feeling for her.
Weird feeling. He entered her with almost no resistance.
It's weird as hell. Like, you got a devoted girlfriend, but yet because at that time men they want to conquer anything that came around them. That's.
I still hope that this was not the normal, because that was like.
Well, if you watch a lot of exploitation films, that's what they portray men as.
I mean, in movies it's fine. It's like, but
and those exploitation films did not hold back on a lot of that stuff. We seen it in Foxy Brown and
most certainly.
So that's how they like to portray men.
Yeah.
And if we talk Miss 45, oh my God, that's another film. Men just can't help themselves. They gotta be stupid and think with their other head. And that's what Dominic was thinking. He's like, oh, this fresh meat. Let me take it. Let me take it. That's exactly what he did. I'm gonna take it.
Yeah,
I'm just being blunt. That's how the movie presented itself. You know,
it's like a Harvey Weinstein casting.
But you know, one thing about Maggie, she had to prove her loyalty to the group because you know Lace was ready to let her be in the group for free, and Bunny's like, nah, she got to earn her stripes. You know, I lost my eye joining the group. And I'm like, if you lose your eye just to join the group, then something wrong with you.
Yeah, it's like, that Patches girl truly was pouring a lot of gasoline in fires.
Yeah, she was jealous from the start. Like, she did not like Maggie being a part of the group whatsoever.
And I really liked how they treated her in the end.
Yeah. But she got off kind of scot-free, in my opinion.
It depends, like,
she lost association with the group, but she was the instigator that started everything.
Yeah. But isn't that like the harshest treatment a woman can give anybody? You don't exist for us anymore.
You get to live.
Yeah.
Lace didn't. So she got off the hook.
That fight was so good, especially with the shadows when they had that. When you just saw the shadows fighting, that was so well shot. I really loved this fight scene.
Yeah, I enjoy it. And it tugs at your emotions because, like, Lace, you can see, like, she's the leader of the group. And at the beginning, she portrays this tough leader. But then she softens up towards the middle. Yeah. And then she tries to reclaim that toughness because Maggie usurped her in terms of toughness. And, you know, if you're a leader of your group, you know, you want to reestablish yourself. And she was the leader of the group. So I was like, I didn't like how she set up Dominic's death, but he had it coming.
Yeah, he had it coming. I mean, everybody in the movie actually had it coming. Like, it was like...
Everybody was bad, but if you're gonna you know, watch a movie full of villains, then one person you might like more than the other.
Yeah, today is not a good day to have a name like Dominic.
Yeah. And he got killed by a fucking punk ass crab.
Yeah.
Them guys. And when Maggie steals the medallion from him, I was like, you dumb.
Yeah, you know, I think that was the only weak point in the movie, to have like the grab that gang portrayed so. There's no political correct term for it, so.
But they were lame. They were like, how is this crew a gang? Dominic's crew looked more tougher than the Crabs.
I mean, they had M16, so I think that was like the only.
And that's the reason why Muff, when they told Muff who they were going after, they like, oh, we don't like them motherfuckers. They the ones that's pushing the drugs in our neighborhood.
Yeah, like that's Mo through them.
And then they had, we became even better friends because her and Maggie had a past friendship due to Maggie's relationship with her brother.
And they both grew up in the same district. Yeah, she dated her brother, and her brother got shot by the cops.
The only time the cops are actually portrayed bad.
Yeah, otherwise, I mean, also like in the ending, you know, when the Chester Bells, the Switchblade sisters are having the infight, the cops are on the outside, like, wait, they're fighting on the inside. If they're killing each other, we can arrest them.
Yeah, we got a murder on our hands.
We got a murder. Like, it's like, let them murder somebody of their own, and then we can arrest them for murder.
Yeah,
and there's no more juvenile. Yeah,
it's actually pretty smart, girl. Like that, great thinking. Because if they would have busted in and got them before a murder happened, then they probably would have been out within a week or so.
Exactly. So, smart move from the police.
The police. Police being smart, but we supposed to hate the police.
But you can totally see in this movie that it has Jack Hill's handwriting all over.
Yeah, that's why I say when if you watch Coffee and Foxy Brown and then you watch this, you could just see all the similarities.
Hey, Jeff. I still think that Coffee and Jackie Brown are
not Jack, Foxy Brown.
Foxy Brown are more coherent movies. Like they're more within one phone. This movie has like certain theme changes within the movie. But it's still. I think this movie is very intelligent point, like to how to view gang violence and youth violence, like what is behind it. Of course, it also shows that it is like also the social economic factor in there.
Yeah, they definitely touch on it a little bit at the beginning with the man coming to collect on the delinquent pay.
Yeah.
And like I said backstage, I'm like, it's either you need money to pay, to support your kids, or just let him take the TV that they delinquent on. The TV's gone. I'm trying to make sure I feed my kids and cover everything else that I can.
Yeah. Yeah, it's also not the best parents. Otherwise, the kids would probably not be engaged.
Yeah, because Lace is in the other room listening. That's what led to them. And I'll admit, even if you're a man, all them women coming in the elevator, you know something is up.
Yeah, and you know something is up, and it's not your lucky day.
No. and they all got switchblades.
Yeah.
And you know what? That's another thing. I literally thought that when they was going to change the name, that I thought, Switchblade Sisters. Switchblade Sisters. It is the Jezebels. I'm like,
I think the movie's even titled Jezebels in some... I think the movie has different titles.
Like, the first thing that came on mind is good old Jim Ross. Every time he said, that damn Jezebel!
In German, even though the movie is not set in New York, in German it has the titles... Die Bronxkatzen, like the bronze cats.
Really?
Yeah. Probably because just you want to have the Bronx in the title because it sells better because New York violence.
Yeah, people love New York violence, man. I
mean,
a lot of the 70s films in New York were gritty and grimy.
But I would say in general, both movies are excellent for different reasons. And both are, what I love about 70s movies, and I always say that's something we lost today. A movie doesn't need to be longer than 91, 92 minutes. Just in a very few cases, if you shoot something like The Lord of the Rings, but an action movie should not have like a runtime of 120 or 180 fucking minutes.
Especially when the story is not that deep.
Exactly. And you don't have to make the story always deep. It's just, you want to have entertainment.
You know where a movie fails? If your story is not that deep, but yet you're adding stuff to it that makes no sense. And it leads to a completely convoluted film.
Yes, that's sadly a lot of studios do this nowadays. Like, hey, the movie has to be long and shit, but hey, nah. Make the movie short and make it enjoyable, make the movie watchable.
Yeah, I agree. Because too many movies try and add stuff to it, and it's like your story is already thin as it is.
Yeah.
Just if it's thin, keep it at a light time, 89, 91 minutes, and just tell the story that you already have. Don't try and add stuff to it.
Exactly.
But like, I enjoy Switchblade Sisters for what it was. It entertained me, even if it has some stuff that in there that didn't age well, but still, it's a product of its time.
Exactly.
I'm not going to look at it and say, oh, I'm never going to watch this film again because it offended me and stuff like that. I'm like, get the fuck out of here. The movie entertained me. Okay, even if it has stuff that's offensive, again, a product of its time. Nothing is ever going to be what you say, politically correct.
Exactly, and yeah.
So, I always tell people, like, if you're gonna watch a film from the 60s, 70s, and 80s, don't go into it with your mindset of today.
Exactly. Like, I can enjoy the movie despite having Mao posters in it. So
Yeah. Don't go into it with today's mindset. Go into it knowing that you're watching a movie from its time.
yeah.
Because if you go into it with today's mindset, you're going to criticize it with today's mindset. All right? And you're going to bring your political correctness into a movie that's not politically correct. We don't need that.
Exactly. 70s exploitation cinema, I love it.
It's great. And it really harkens back to a days where anything can happen on screen, where creativity was at its highest, whether it's high budget films or low budget films. Everybody was creating something new and fresh.
I think
now people just wanting to redo all the stuff and make it more modern. And I don't want to see a modernized product, because now I can just see all the stuff that this person wants to add to the film to make it more modern. And I'm like,
I really think that social media fucked up cinema very much. It doesn't matter like on which side of the American culture war you are, because I think both sides would have heavily criticized this if there would have been tweet in the 70s. What I really hate is like the movie studios listening to these crowds, which doesn't even make up 1% of the people watching the movies. Like, social media still very much is like a cloud, is very niche, and doesn't represent the opinion of the majority of cinema goers or movie goers. So it really sucks that most of the studios are only listening to the extreme voices on social media.
Yeah. And that's where you get all these misconstrued reviews.
Exactly.
Like when you talked about that review a couple weeks ago on the guy reviewing King of New York, and he had pessimistic and stuff like that, and it's like the movie's beyond that. Like you're trying to put a word on a movie that the movie's not it.
Exactly.
So, like some modern reviews, like if you wasn't a part of that product, or you didn't grow up in that era and watch it for what it was and understand that it was that era, then don't watch it.
Exactly. And that's the easiest thing to do is, even when a movie is treating a character that I like nowadays wrong, is like I don't have to watch it. Like I, to this day, have not watched the Jason Momoa Conan movie. And I love Conan the character, but I also know I've seen the trailer and I was like, this doesn't look like a movie that is well, and it doesn't look like it's a good Conan movie. And I'm not a fan of Jason Momoa as an actor. I mean, he's like a great guy, but he's a terrible actor. I'm still watching movies with him in, but this Conan movie gave me the wrong vibe, so I didn't even watch it. And you know what? I have nothing in my life. Nothing feels incomplete. Nothing feels missing. I still can read all the awesome Conan stories by Robert E. Howard, all of the great interpretations and adaptations by Roy Thomas in the comics. So that's the thing, is like only because you're a fan of something, you don't have to enjoy everything. It's the same with He-Man. I love He-Man, but I always love the comics more. Like, I mean, the original cartoon is nice and wholesome, etc., but the comics are way more savage and more barbarian. And like, I don't give a fuck what they do later. Like, I don't have to watch the Netflix Revelations. I don't have to watch like the other one that it's for the kids, because hey, it's clearly aimed at a different audience. I don't have to watch the new She-Ra series. If people like them, they should watch them. Apparently not enough people like them, but it's like I don't feel personally attacked because somebody's doing something different with a franchise I like. Would I love to see something that is totally up my alley? Of course I would, but hey, I'm sitting here and I'm having enough books and movies here that last me for a lifetime, so...
Exactly.
Yeah.
And you don't have to waste negative energy on something that you don't like. Or you're not... Yeah, you don't have to waste all negative energy. People,
exactly.
They're such diehard fans that they feel that they gotta do videos nonstop talking about why they hate this and why they hate that.
I do have to say, when they make money doing those videos, they would be stupid not to do it. I'm just blame the audience. Like, you know, there's a lot of channels who really monetize all the hate against the Hollywood. Like, of course, they have some very true criticism. But the other thing is like, hey, spend your time with something you like. You know, even if you monetize it, if you even earn money from talking about movies that fuck up your fandoms, we only have a very short lifespan here on Earth, and I rather would spend it on something that I like.
Well, I could have made a whole bunch of videos on Ghostbusters 2016.
Exactly.
But I was like, I don't want to waste so much energy doing it.
Especially, you know, this movie is like, if I don't watch it, it doesn't take anything away from the Ghostbusters movies and the Ghostbusters cartoons that I like. So,
but yeah, like I like both movies. Slaughter, Switchblade Sisters.
Yeah,
fantastic films for what they are. You know, I'm not saying that they're all-time great classics and stuff, but for what they are, I enjoy them. And that's the whole point of doing this show with you, bro. Is talking movies that we enjoy.
Exactly. Like it's
first time watching Switchblade Sisters. Your first time watching Slaughter, right?
Yeah, it's and that's the thing is, this is exactly why we're doing it, because we added new movies to our repertoire of movies that we've watched that gave us an awesome time. Not only an awesome time watching these movies, but also an awesome time talking them. So, like Arnold said, like in Pumping Iron, becoming day and night.
Yeah, exactly. That's the whole point of this. You know, we introduce new movies, we talk about them, whether we like them or dislike them, and we move on to the next film.
Yeah. Talking about awesome things, I think you got an A-OK.
Yes.
Which strangely enough also has a connection thanks to Chinese comment, like to the movie we talked about, the Switchblade Sisters.
Yeah, I'll save that to the last. But I'm gonna start with the greatness that is the Savage Dragon, because you've been helping me out a lot on this.
And I got them all for cover price.
Let me make this official. So, Savage Dragon number 64. Loved it. Look, like, I know you're not a big Eric Larson fan, but the one thing I love about Larson is his attention to detail and his love for like old school cover arts, you know, because he pays homage to a lot of the old school artists.
And he also brings back some public domain characters. So.
Yes, he does that a lot too. You know, this is another one. Like he done many variations of this cover on different issues. You know, but you can't deny that it's always an impactful cover.
Yeah.
You know, whenever he does it. This is number 82. This was around time, like when it was in the 80s, I got back into Savage Dragon back in the 90s. And I jumped in. You see Mad, which is a Charlie Aldred creation.
But yeah, it's a tough run to collect in the US, what I've seen.
Yeah, because once you get past the 80s, it's like everything after that is hard to get, you know.
Yeah, but very low print run, yeah.
Yeah, because he started focusing more on his subscribers and not just the mass audience.
Yeah, luckily, German comic book shop I know really had, like, for cover price, a lot of the issues you're missing.
Yeah. Because it's tough to get these in back issues. Most of the back issues are like all the earlier issues. That easy to get when they have mass produced.
Yeah, and I looked on eBay where I'm like, hey, this sounds really pricey.
Yeah. And then 122. And again, this is another type of cover that you've seen in a lot of old school covers. You know, the hidden figure standing there and the hero in the background.
And I just love covers that tell the story what is in the book.
Yeah. And then 178. Love the
the
red sky.
Background. Yeah, it's really,
Yeah.
really nice.
Yeah, so those are Savage Dragons, man. Awesome.
But I don't know what missing. The one with.
Yeah. It's mixed with the other books, but yes, the
Osama
bin Laden variant.
Because like, hey, wait a moment. I hope that the customs did not take out the most valuable book.
Yeah, if they did, they'd be like, oh, we gotta compensate this book because it's got Osama on the cover. But yeah, this is a variant to 177, and I've seen this before. I was like, oh man, this is definitely hard to come by, man. And thanks to you, man, I finally have it. But yeah,
my comic book shop, I think they just got it in last month with their, and they always put in like a list online when they're getting like new antique buys and back issue buys, and he put it in like for cover price. I immediately was like, nope, goes on my buy list because I know somebody who needs it.
Osama bin Laden back to destroy America. That's why I love Larson. He definitely has political covers on his book, but
which is quite ironic because a lot of people would think that Larson is here to destroy America.
But yeah, man, thanks for this one. I love that. Hilarious cover. Then you hooked me up with some Invincible Iron Man, the Riri Williams. This is the foreign.
Is it the Italian version? Yeah,
the Italian. See, sometimes I get confused on which one is it. Is it Italian? Is it German? Is it French?
Yeah.
But yeah, this is the Italian Riri Williams, Invincible Iron Man #1. It's pretty awesome. Now I see this one says gratis, so it's got to be German, right?
Yeah, that's from the Marvel, because once in a year there's like free comic book day. There's the Marvel Day from Panini Germany, where they are like also handing out free comics. And I thought, hey, like Panther, so I know where this one goes.
Nice. And I'm not a big fan of Greg Land's art, but at least it's not a woman on it. It's a pretty good Black Panther cover. And then this one, I was surprised by this one, the Jungle Action #19, Black Panther versus the Ku Klux Klan.
I got this one, unbelievable price. So I was like, when I saw it, it's like, hey, I know somebody who collects the Jungle Action run, and I didn't know if you had it or not. If you had it, you can always resell it for way more than I bought it.
I don't have it. This is the one I was actually trying to get to. And it's expensive. So when I saw this, I was like, oh snap, he sent this?
I found this, and this is even in fantastic condition. I got it for €8, which is about also $8 today.
So man, much appreciated.
Yeah.
This is a pretty big book to get off this run.
Yeah.
So it should make getting the rest of the issues easier. And last but not least, you brought up the name Janice Carson. And when I saw this, I was like, oh man, childhood nostalgia. We talked about the Chipmunks before last year, back when on your channel. But yeah.
The media book of Alvin Chipmunks. Treffen den Werwolf.
Wolfman.
The Wolfman.
And we love Alvin and the Chipmunks. And did we talk to Wolfman?
Yes, we talked to Wolfman. We talked all three of
the Frankenstein, Wolfman and stuff. Yeah, so but to have this media book, the German edition, is like, and I'm like, I'll be jealous of you because we getting these media books that have a lot more content than what we get on deluxe stuff.
And you get they have like the Blu-ray and the DVD in it.
Nice. And that's why I love, man. It's like this camaraderie between us that we're able to hook each other up with a lot of great stuff. And Chipmunks right here is childhood classic. So
yeah, it's always wholesome. I just also love hunting for my friends, stuff for them not hunting my friends.
But it's a testament to to our friendship and what we do on this show. That I mean, what video I went back and watched? I went back and watched. I posted on YouTube. Thank God I saved that clip, because with your page being private, I can't watch it. But when Jeff and Steve hooked you up with the Transformers one,
it was epic.
That was classic.
I still have to say, I think my most favorite reaction of mine was when gave me the Alex Wright t-shirt.
Yeah, that's another one I'm glad I saved too, man.
Yeah.
And I put the awesome theme song in the background, so I was like, But that video with you getting the Transformers one was just classic, man. That was epic. It's one of the funniest moments, when you showed the book.
I loved the book.
That was awesome, and that's the thing, that's genuinely exciting about, helping each other out in the community. Whether it's you, Steve, I ain't gonna say it because I don't want to. He might watch the replay, but I'll tell you off air. But it's just gratifying, and it's always a pleasure to help you with your runs, and you helping me with runs. And we help other people that were friends. I'm hoping to maybe get Gary V some, because I still want to do the Jason the Argonauts and Clash of the Titans stream. But
gotta do that.
Gotta do that. And of course this month, if I'm not mistaken, this is the anniversary month too.
Again.
I know, right? Because it was we our first stream was Conan the Destroyer, right?
Yeah, it was just our anniversary. It can't be 1 year again.
It's June 2nd, 2023. We are already at the middle point of the year.
Fuck.
Oh man, and it was just like last year. For our 2-year anniversary, we did the Sinbad films.
Yeah, and then we had Gary also. Gary, if you're still driving, it's like drive your ass soon here in the live stream so we can talk nice mythological things again.
So it's just amazing. We're on our anniversary month. 3 years doing this, man. 3 years.
3 awesome years. At least here in the stream, awesome. Not outside in the world so much, but
yeah. So 3 years of just awesomeness, talking all these great films, old and new. And next week we talk 300.
Wow.
I am looking forward to that.
What is your profession? Who?
And I'm looking forward to rewatching all those fake abs. I'm like, wait a minute, now those abs real? Or those CGI abs?
Well, abs are tough to produce.
They are tough to obtain. So
because even when you work out, it's still it's tough to have abs. It's tough.
So it's gonna be fun to talk about that film. And what was the Friday that you're not gonna be able to do a show? So I can put that down.
That's the one. It's gonna be the 23rd, I think. Yeah.
23rd.
Yes.
Okay, I gotta make a note of that. Because either way, when you finish watching The Wire, we gotta talk that. We do a whole show on that first season.
This is gonna be awesome.
Because I was telling Jace, I was like, yeah, you're watching The Wire, and I'm like, damn, now I feel like watching The Wire. I'm like, yep. And this is the anniversary. This is the anniversary month of The Wire, 21 years. So
21 fucking years.
I know, man.
Well, we're gonna be 40 this year, so
I know. When's your birthday again?
16th of July.
Yeah, I'll definitely try.
Yours is more towards the end of the year, I think.
Yeah, September 29th.
September.
But yeah, 40, man. 40 right there. Staring us in the face.
Yeah, I can't believe it. Probably like on the 16th of July, like the hair falls out.
Hey, you still got luscious hair, but man, the gray is coming in on me, man. I'm looking old. I just saw my cousin who came down, and I remember when he started getting gray in his early 30s. Now he's full gray.
I'm old. There are some gray hairs, but I'm also lucky that I'm blondish, so it doesn't show as much. It's like if I could have a beard, I think half of my beard is like gray, but luckily I can't really grow a beard.
Right. But yeah, man, next week we're gonna do 300. That's gonna be a fun movie to talk about again, and then we'll come up with something for the following week before the hiatus. And we always come up with something.
Yeah, that's a good thing. We will never run out of material.
There's so much material going.
I just rewatched over at the Earth's Core, fantastic movie.
Yep. And also we got to revisit. It crossed my mind earlier today. I'm like, The Last Dragon.
Oh yeah, we have to revisit it.
Gotta revisit that.
Which is so fun because last week because my girlfriend has never seen Enter the Dragon, and it was like, well, we gotta watch Enter the Dragon. She loved it, and it was like after Enter the Dragon, it's like, I wanna watch The Last Dragon. Because especially you know the scene when Bruce goes to the fight and stands up, and this is like exactly what we also see in the beginning of the Last Dragon.
At the movie theater, yep.
Yeah, the movie like
the two movies go like hand in hand. You know, one is a love letter to Into the Dragon. So, and like if you watch Into the Dragon, you gotta watch The Last Dragon.
Well, I think we have maybe like a double feature then.
Yes,
like
let's
one
do that.
week Enter the Dragon, the other week The Last Dragon. Revisit it.
Yes, let's do that. You know, we could plan that for next month.
Yes,
we could plan that for next month. So
you had me at Dragon.
All right, man. As always, it's a great pleasure always to have you on this show every Friday. You know, it started on your channel, moved it over to mine. Same topic, same discussion,
same awesomeness, same fun. It's the friendship between us that I cherish the most, and it's just, you know, since we can't hang out at the bars, since there's a freaking ocean between, I'm always very happy for this Friday, because it really feels like, you know, just hanging out with a friend and talking something we like.
Yeah, if you would
have boy, that sounded gay.
And you know what? That's another thing. I'm like, social media and stuff has really changed the way we speak. Because you say something like that in the past, it don't sound gay, but nowadays it's like, oh, that sounds gay. I'm like, damn, is everything gay? You gotta watch what you say now. Like if I said I had 3 man things without saying comics, they're like, oh,
just for
say like that.
Yeah, just for the disclaimer, no homo.
Like I said, man, I miss the days of pre-social media where you could say stuff and nothing gets said like that.
Yeah, it was a good day. It was a good time.
Yeah. But anyway, that's me, Sean, and BB signing off. We hope y'all have a great weekend. I know I'm gonna have a blast tomorrow. And we'll see y'all next week. Later, y'all.
Bye-bye.